October 9th, 1963, 10:39 p.m. Northern Italy. The PA Valley is in total darkness. At this exact moment, seismographs as far away as Brussels and Vienna record a sudden, violent tremor. This is not a natural earthquake. It is the sound of Monte Toc hitting the floor of the reservoir. A massive rock, 2 kilometers wide, breaks free. In just 45 seconds, 260 million cubic meters of earth plunge into the water. The energy is so immense that the ground itself shudders across the continent. Then the displacement wave follows. It lifts 50 million cubic meters of water. A wall of water rises 250 meters into the air. It clears the dam's crest. The concrete does not fail. The structure does not break. The wave simply steps over it. In 1950, post-war Italy was a nation in a hurry. The economic miracle needed energy. The Vajont project was its crown jewel, a masterpiece of double curvature concrete completed in 1959, 262 meters high, yet at its base just 19 meters thick. The engineers looked at their work with pride. To them, this was more than a dam. It was a statement of power. They believed modern engineering could master any landscape. 2 kilometers downstream, the town of Longarone sat in the shadow of the giant. For its residents, the dam was a shield, a promise of work, a promise of modern life. Longarone was a thriving community of more than 4,000 people. The town lay on a flat plain, directly at the mouth of the gorge. Between the houses below and the reservoir above lay just 2 kilometers of distance and a vertical drop of hundreds of meters. The geography was a trap, a narrow, steep-walled canyon acting as a natural barrel. Any water escaping the reservoir would be compressed, accelerated, and fired straight into the valley. Life continued as usual. None of them knew they were sleeping directly in the line of fire. The warnings came early. In 1960, the mountains spoke. Nearly 1 million cubic meters of rock slid into the water. Geologists uncovered a fatal truth. Monte Toc rested on thin, fragile layers of clay. Only then did engineers consider the name. In the local dialect, Toc means a piece that is falling apart. The mountain was rotten, but the project was too expensive to stop. Engineers chose a policy of controlled risk. They believed they could train the mountain by raising and lowering the water level. Small slides, manageable movement. They saw the warning signs. An M-shaped crack, 2 kilometers long, opened across the face of the mountain. They watched it grow. They measured the movement, and they chose to wait. To predict what would happen next, engineers turned to science. At the University of Padua, they built a scale model. 1 to 200. Dry gravel stood in for Monte Toc. The results were reassuring. In the simulation, the landslide was slow. The gravel shifted and settled over nearly 4 minutes. The resulting wave reached just 25 meters. But the model was blind. It ignored poor water pressure. As the reservoir stayed full, water soaked into the deep clay seams. Rock lost friction. Earth began to slide on water. By October 1963, the mountain was moving 80 centimeters a day. It was no longer a slope. It was a single, lubricated block. It would not settle for 4 minutes. It would fall in seconds. October 9th, evening. In Longarone, the lights were on. Residents followed their usual routines. High above at the dam, the atmosphere was thick with dread. In the darkness, the engineers could no longer see the slope. But the instruments told the story. The needles were accelerating. They could hear the mountain. Snapping pines, grinding stone. Lights along the mountain road tilted, flickered, and vanished one by one. They knew the landslide was coming, but they believed the displacement would stay within the limits of their 4-minute simulation. No sirens sounded in the valley below. No evacuation order was given. The engineers trusted the dam. They were right about the concrete. They were fatally wrong about the water. The landslide struck the basin at 110 kilometers per hour. The wave did not take 4 minutes to form. It took 45 seconds. The air blast arrived first. The massive volume of water forced air through the narrow gorge, creating a shockwave of compression. In Longarone, windows shattered and walls collapsed before a single drop of water arrived. Then came the flood. 50 million cubic meters of mud, rock, and water. The energy released rivaled that of a small atomic detonation. The town was not flooded. The force stripped the valley down to bare bedrock. Longarone was erased. 1,910 lives, lost in less than 7 minutes. The dam remained standing. It had survived a load 10 times greater than what it was designed for. A structural success, a human catastrophe. The trial that followed revealed ignored warnings and suppressed geological truth. Today, the Vajont Dam stands silent. The reservoir is no longer a lake. It is a solid plain of earth, the mountain that claimed the valley. The arch holds no water. It holds only memory. Engineering solved the problem of the water. It failed to account for the mountain.